Let's bring Jeff in, CBS Sports 97.3, ESPN.com. He'll be covering the Eagles this season. So, obviously, some Eagles news today. I guess this is interesting news, Jeff. I don't know how we read this. You know, Howard Eskin, who, of course, is the sideline reporter, so he knows the team very well, to put out that, hey, Ertz will be there on Tuesday. Kumbaya, he's over everything. He's been practicing with the team for 2 weeks, and everything seems to be A-OK. Read the tea leaves.
Well, I'm not shocked Zach Ertz is going to be there. I mean, it definitely looked like he was going to be there for at least about a week or two now. I didn't see the Eagles trading him, and Zach Ertz never reminded me of a player that would basically hold out. Like, that's just not his nature. He was going to show up as long as he's employed by the Philadelphia Eagles. He was going to show up. That's just not who Zach Ertz is. And, you know, we talked about Monday. You know, I feel Zach Ertz is going to start camp with this team. I'm not sure if he's going to finish camp with them, but he's going to be there. And, you know, it's perfectly okay to let bygones be bygones. Maybe Zach Ertz looks at this like, hey, I'm getting paid a lot of money this year to be a mentor on this team, to help this young team out, and let's give this team one final run for everything they've given me. And, you know, maybe last year he wanted a new contract. Maybe he realized the fact, I'm not getting a new contract. So you know what? I'm going to play out this year, and then I'm going to go to wherever I want.
Admirable, but is this a realization from the Ertz side that the offers weren't there? Because there was reports earlier that, hey, the Eagles had given him permission to find a trade, had his agent come back a week before camp and say, I tried, buddy. I got nothing for you.
And Steve Carrick's a good agent, too. Like, he's one of the best in the business, especially for tight ends. He takes care of them. So when they can't find a deal, that's concerning. So I think that's what it was. I think, you know, Kerr probably went to Ertz and said, hey, look, you know, the Eagles want to do this. We really can't find anything right now. There are definitely teams that are interested in you, but they're trying to lowball for you, and the Eagles just won't budge. And, you know, it always takes two to tango. And, you know, maybe Zach Ertz found his team, but that team didn't want to give up anything what the Eagles were looking for. And, you know, the Eagles aren't just going to cut this guy and let him go wherever he wants, not when he's such a valuable asset. So maybe Zach Ertz figured, hey, okay, we'll make the best out of a I don't even want to call it a bad situation because I don't think he ever wanted to leave Philly in the first place. It's just that he got frustrated. He wasn't getting a new contract.
Yeah, all right. So you could play the hope game, right? You can say, look, what happened in 2016 with Sam Bradford. Maybe a tight end gets hurt somewhere. Is that what they're hoping for here?
Maybe. Here's the thing, though, Mike. There are a lot of teams that don't have tight ends right now. The Arizona Cardinals could badly use Zach Ertz. The Buffalo Bills could use Zach Ertz. The Carolina Panthers could use Zach Ertz. Maybe the New Orleans Saints. There are definitely teams out there that could use this guy, but they just don't want to give up what the Eagles feel Zach Ertz is worth. And I really can't blame the Eagles for trying to get as most as they can for a guy who really has only had one bad year in the NFL.
Right. I mean, yeah, the Eagles – but it's like, all right, are they putting this message out there to try to say, hey, we're not releasing this guy, so if you want him, you're going to have to meet our demands?
Yeah, that's it. And I feel the Eagles, they have, $4.8 million in available salary cap space. So they're looking at it as, okay, we can still do some things we need to do to make this roster better without getting rid of this guy. Because, okay, yeah, you save $8.5 million against the cap. Great. Unless you're trading for Xavier Howard or Stephon Gilmore, there is no reason to get rid of Zach Ertz. So maybe they know something we don't. Maybe they landed the Steven Nelson. Who knows? But the Eagles are looking at it as, we are a much better football team with Zach Ertz on it than we are without.
All right. Are they, though? Are you taking away reps from Dallas Goedert? Do you think Goddard is a better player today than Ertz will be this season? And if that's the case, do you have an Alshon Jeffrey Travis Fulgham situation again next year or this year?
No, because I feel the Eagles will utilize both of them. The Colts did use a lot of 12 personnel last year, not as much as the Eagles have the past couple of years, but the Eagles are going to find ways to get these two on the football field. There's no doubt about that. And I think both will ultimately share the target share, if you will. I don't think this is a Zach Ertz versus Dallas Goedert. I don't think this is hindering Dallas Goedert in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it kind of helps the Eagles out because not saying they're going to lowball Dallas Goedert because they'll still pay him what he's worth, but instead of probably making $6 million, $7 million a year, maybe Dallas Goedert makes $5 million a year because the Eagles will say, well, we haven't really seen you as a number one tight end yet, and that's not Dallas Goedert.
So now you're going down to try to tick off your other tight end.
Yeah, exactly. It's smart business. honestly. It's like, you're going to pay Dallas Goedert. It's just he probably isn't going to get as much as he would have gotten if he would have played this year and say he had 70 catches for 900 yards and 10 touchdowns. Then the price goes up. But if Zach Ertz is there, it's 4,605. Makes a big difference.
What's the message that I guess you got to say there's some motive here for the person reporting it, Howard Eskin, to say he's past all the problems from last year.
And he can be. That's what, when I always say, too, sometimes when I have problems, I let him go. Time heals all wounds. And Zach Ertz, he's had 8 months, okay, I can't, and we talked about this earlier, I'm like, can't go to where I want to, or no team wants to pay what I'm worth, and they're not going to cut me, so I'm going to make the best out of this. I'm going to ball out for the Eagles this year, and I'm going to make a lot of money in free agency next year.
Oh, maybe. I mean, that's where I have a problem. The age, and if he doesn't play, if he does play, he's not going to be the full-time guy, we would imagine. He's not going to have the same role that he did in Doug Peterson's offense, right?
No, that's the thing. I don't think he's going to have that prevalent role, but he's going to be an important part of this offense. And look, any weapon that helps Jalen Hurts out is a good weapon for me. And Zach Ertz is that. I think Zach Ertz can have a monster year under Nick Sirianni. I think Nick Sirianni is going to find ways to line this guy up in the slot and utilize the best of his abilities, which is catching slants and catching the football. And maybe we'll have a creative enough offense where Zach Ertz can actually get yards after the catch. I know this is Eagles fans love to rip on Ertz for that, but I don't think that's Ertz. I think that was the system he was in. So I'm looking at it as, okay, look, I can't wait till he speaks next week because I really want to hear what he has to say about all this. I really hope he speaks on the first day of training camp.
In the best case scenario, you're not getting Xavier Howard, you're not getting Gilmore, you're not getting Jordan Hicks, right? You're not getting a guy who comes in and helps this team play for Zach Ertz. Like that whole thought of utilizing him to get something to help this team is not happening.
And I'm sure Howie Roseman could pull off a player-for-player swap, but do teams really want to do that? Like, I don't think the Dolphins are going to give up Howard.
Especially for a guy, Jeff, sorry to cut you off, making $8.5 million at this time of the year. Who wants to add that kind of salary right before camp starts?
Well, you got to look at the situations, too. The New England Patriots, they don't need a tight end. They have John Smith. They have Hunter Henry. They don't need him. The Miami Dolphins have, in my opinion, top 10 tight end Mike Gesicki. They don't need Zach Ertz. They have weapons on the outside. The Cardinals make a lot more sense because Jordan Hicks is pretty much falling out of favor there, and he's got 1 year left on his deal, and the Cardinals don't have a tight end, but Cliff Kingsbury doesn't use a tight end anyway. So it's kind of a waste of money at that point. You're probably just better off keeping Jordan Hicks on your roster in case someone goes down. So really, it's a dead situation. The only team I really see Zach Ertz going to is the Buffalo Bills, and they're not going to give up a third or fourth round pick for this guy.
Right. That's a situation where, much like you get to camp and you say, look, we like Knox. Are we a Super Bowl team? Let's give this kid a chance. We'll give you 2 weeks to prove to us that, in training camp, and if we look good camp and we're not comfortable, we'll call the Eagles.
And here's the other thing. This isn't over. Like, Zach Ertz could start the year with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he may not be here come week 9 because of the trade deadline. And, it all depends how the Eagles are. The Eagles are sitting at, 2-5. Yeah, you're looking to trade Zach Ertz, and teams will be willing to give up something for this guy because he's an asset. It's almost like when the Eagles gave up the 4th round pick for Jay Ajayi. He was an asset. He was going to benefit them immediately. And that's how teams are going to look at it. They're not going to make a move on July 21st. They're not going to make a move on August 21st. But October 21st, different story.
This one, it's just weird, the timing, I guess, right? I mean, the timing, it's less than a week before camp starts, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, all of a sudden he's happy. That, to me, is just kind of weird.
And he's in the building. Like, he's working with these guys.
He's been there for 2 weeks, right? Thanks for adding that.
And I think he was always bought in. I don't think that was the issue. I just think he wanted a new contract and just didn't get it.
Yeah, and I think that's obvious. He wants the new contract. He didn't get it, and his agent says, we tried, and I couldn't get you something either. Sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much what – he's between a rock and a hard place right now. but he's in a pretty good situation with the Eagles, and he knows it's a good situation. He likes the head coach. He didn't have to show up to voluntary minicamp anyway. So this is going to be his first interaction with Nick Sirianni, but he knows a lot of these guys on this offense. I'm sure Zach Ertz has studied this playbook left and right throughout this offseason. He knows he needs to have a big year, or if not, I'm not saying his NFL career will be over, but he's not going to get the money he thinks he's worth.
Yep. If Zach, you tweeted earlier, if Zach Ertz did want to be traded, that this helped him, not a distraction at all. Why?
Yeah, because look, he's playing good soldier. I'm showing up. I am doing the work. I am not bothering this football team. You're not Nick Sirianni's not going to ask when Zach Ertz coming. Howie Roseman's not going to ask when Zach Ertz coming. Zach Ertz is here. Zach Ertz can field these questions and he can vent his frustrations if he chooses to. And if he doesn't, and if all is well and good, then all is well and good. And yeah, it's a story, but it's more media driven than anything else until something happens. Like, if Zach Ertz is not here, it's not media driven. It's an actual distraction. But Zach Ertz is here, and if he's putting in the work, it's all okay. Now you're looking for content at this point, and Zach Ertz has created the content for you. He's going to be here.
Cam Akers went down. What does that do to the Rams?
Oh man, they were 9-3 with Cam Akers last year. They were a pretty good football team. And now all of a sudden you're worried about depth at running back. It's not like Darrell Henderson can get the job done. I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about what's behind him. Xavier Woods, they really don't. Xavier Jones, sorry, not Xavier Woods. They really don't have much depth there. They have him. They have Xavier Jones, a 7th round draft pick. Behind him, it's just not a good situation. You got to bring in a veteran running back there. No, Todd Gurley is not an option. Todd Gurley is so ticked off at the Rams. That's just not going to be a thing. So you got to look at Adrian Peterson. You got to look at Frank Gore. Chris Thompson would be an ideal fit because he's played under some. Yeah, Frank Gore. I mean, he's on the market. He's 38. He still wants to play, and he wants to play for a Super Bowl contender. Honestly, Mike, the two I would go with, I would probably go with Duke Johnson or Adrian Peterson. Those would be the two.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, they're not the same type of player that Akers is. I mean, they're totally different type of backs.
But they're depth. And that's what you need right now. You can't go in here saying, okay, we like Xavier Jones. You know what? The Eagles like Michael Warren and Adrian Killens, too. Look where that got him.
Yeah. What do you make of Steven Nelson tweeting that today or tomorrow, and then nothing's happened? He deletes his account. He deletes the tweet. Now he's back, but still not signed.
Yeah, again, tomorrow's not over yet. So, Steven Nelson could sign at 11:59 tonight. It does seem like, though, he's close to a resolution on where he wants to go. It's time now, Mike. Your training camp starts next week. You got to learn the playbook. You don't want to show up on the first day of practice and be absolutely clueless. You don't want to be behind the 8 ball. So I do expect he's going to sign soon. Maybe within the next 24 to 48 hours. I think it's really close.
Well, he thought so anyway, right? Today or tomorrow?
Yeah.
Not happen. It didn't happen. It hasn't happened yet. You're right. Today's not over. It's 5:38 on a Wednesday, so by the end of the day, we'll see if Nelson's somewhere. That's something to keep an eye on as well. Tomorrow, training camps open. 3 teams, Tampa Bay, Dallas, and Pittsburgh. And obviously, Dallas inside the NFC East here. We're all going to be watching to see what Dak Prescott does in these first couple practices. But by all accounts, Jeff, he's healthy and ready to go.
Yeah, he's good to go. And I'm curious to see what Dak Prescott does too. I honestly can't wait till the Hall of Fame game. Maybe he plays in that. I don't know. That's what's going to be so interesting, Mike. How are they going to play these guys in these 3 preseason games? We don't have 4 anymore. We're used to, okay, the Stars get a series in the first game, and then it's, maybe it goes to 2 or 3 series the second game, then a whole half the third game, if that. How are we going to do this now? Are they going to play like a whole quarter of the first game? Are they just going to start with a series? Who knows? But I have a feeling Dallas is going to put Dak Prescott on the field, at least for a little bit, just to get him some game reps.
Yeah, you're right. 3 games. And then keep in mind, your last preseason game is the second to last week of August. You don't start the season until the second week or the third week, really the end of the second week of September. So you've got this
You get 17 days off, essentially.
Right. There's this long gap between your last preseason game and when you actually play a game. So, I don't know, getting a lot of reps in that one game and then almost having like another bye week. It's going to be interesting to see how the teams utilize it, because we saw the preseason, the Rams were one team that essentially didn't use it at all.
No, and they never do. And I don't think they're really going to use it that much this year, especially now with the Cam Akers injury. Like maybe you see Stafford for a series or two, but that's about it. But yeah, you're right, Mike. The Rams never use it. I'm curious to see what Sirianni does because we know how Doug Pearson felt about the preseason. He never played those guys. Ever. I think the only time he really played the stars in the preseason was Carson Wentz's rookie year, and Wentz got hurt. So I think that scared him off a little bit of all that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what Sirianni does.
All right, Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports. We'll cover the Eagles for 97.3 ESPN.com, so we'll have a lot of NFL. By the way, Ben Roethlisberger showed up today looking like a very trim version of Ben Roethlisberger, something to keep an eye on there. And, of course, tomorrow the Tampa Bay Bucks will arrive at camp as well. We'll be all over it here on the Sports Bash. Football is back. Jeff Kerr is here, CBS Sports, 97.3 ESPN.com. Follow him for all your Eagles and NFL news this season at Jeff Kerr, CBS. All right, Jeff.
I want that Ben Roethlisberger shirt, Mike. I want to wear that first day of camp.
I'll see what we can do for you. I got this cool
Lean
shirt
mean.
here.
I'm lean mean. I'm good to go.
Yeah, you're in much better shape than I'm in, that's for sure. Take care, man. Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, 97.3 ESPN on the Eagles beat for the 2021 season. I'm Mike Gill, Sports Bash Live.